Hey there, thank you for tuning in. This is Tiffany from EcoHealth Wellness Center, and I'm so excited. I have a patient testimony, and this is Kachine, and she came to see me back in August of last year, so it's 2022. And so yeah, how did you, I guess, first hear about me?
So I was seeing an acupuncturist at the time who recommended. I was going through all kinds of the cycle of taking medicine for my reflux and then for my IC, and just this constant cycle. One would get better and then I would take the medicine and the other would come back and be worse. And she really recommended that I come talk to you.
Yeah, so and when she says IC, that's interstitial cystitis. I've actually been seeing a lot more patients with it lately. And so yeah, we can talk about that more. So yeah, I remember the acupuncturist that referred you. She's awesome, and we've referred back and forth quite often. So yeah, you came, and I guess explain what were your symptoms and what was your main chief concern, and kind of how was life before meeting?
So my reflux was just a constant thing that I struggled with, and that I have struggled with since I was a teenager. And that sometimes would get a little better, but it would always come back. And then the interstitial cystitis had been a thing that would periodically flare up and go away, and then it would be okay. But I had a flare probably a few months before I came to see you, and that time the pain that I was having from would not fully go away.
Yeah.
So I was really struggling with getting that to finally calm back down again.
Yeah, most people don't realize too, it's pretty debilitating, having the pain. So if you have interstitial cystitis out there, call me, because we got to the root of it. And then also to just kind of feeling tired in your diet.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I mean, just the toll that having that kind of constant takes on just energy. My diet was terrible. My diet was absolutely awful when I first came to see you. That made a huge difference.
Yeah, so let's tell them that was last August. And then, one thing to point out, I think, with your experience, life happens.
Oh, yeah.
And, a lot of personal, family, events happen, things come up, and I always have to remind patients, a lot of people are like, can we just pause? Can we stop the program? And it's like, no, this is when you need this. If you're going to go backwards under the amount of stress if we don't support your body under these amounts of stress.
Yeah, I think it actually probably helped me get through what I was going through at the time, to not pause, to continue, making progress with this. Made a huge difference.
I think it did too. And it's just, I see it with patients with there's a death in the family, or there's a car accident, or a kid gets sick, or, just life happens. And, it doesn't mean we stop working on our diet and stop doing certain things, because it's, in the long run, I think that kept you getting your immune system stronger and getting the inflammation under control, and all the little things you're doing, even though it's so much harder under the amounts of stress. You don't go backwards. I feel like if we wouldn't have done that with you, you could have really swung the other way.
Absolutely.
And gotten way worse, and then been on so many different medications and steroids, and I mean, who knows what could have happened. So anyway, yes, let's talk about how you are now. So it's been 6-8 months?
Yeah. A huge difference. I remember the first day, I think, when I texted and I told you that, I felt a way that I hadn't felt since I was like a kid.
Yeah.
I went 24 hours without having my reflux problems and no bladder problems, and it was like a whole new world opened up to me.
I know. I was like, yay, here we go. Took some time, but we got you there. And then so the chronic GERD and reflux went away, and then you were actually pain-free with the pelvic pain. And that had been going on for how long?
Well, I mean, when all of it started was when I was about 16, 17, so over 20 years of feeling like that, which I had just come to think of as normal.
I know.
Didn't even realize there was another way to.
So what did the doctors tell you to do? What were they telling you to do with all this pain?
they didn't really have very good solutions. They put me on medication, but never really seemed like they had much of an explanation or even any kind of seeming to hope that anything was really going to help all that much. You know, they talked to me at some points by getting me on pain medication, which I really didn't want to do. And I'm glad that didn't happen. But yeah, usually the doctors didn't really have any explanation or any strong suggestions.
I know, that's so sad to me because it's like you're so fixable. I'm like, I hate that you had to go through 20 years. So here we are. And so what have you learned through the process? She did the 12-week program. We made a lot of changes. I mean, she was ready for the transformation and being like, okay, I'll do whatever it takes to not feel like this.
Yeah. Diet. I mean, diet was a huge key. And then just learning, a big thing that you helped me through a lot is being able to identify, because I'd come to just feel that was normal, to actually learn to identify the symptoms that I was having and to sort of isolate them and then feel what was causing flare-ups and problems like that, and then learn to eliminate things that way.
And then too, so we did lab work like we do. We did food sensitivity testing. We uncovered a lot of different things.
Yeah.
And I put together a whole plan for her that just outlined like, okay, here's where we're going to start. And then we're going to start making all these little micro changes, not to overwhelm you, but it was, you know, would you say it was simple or hard or?
It took a little bit of getting used to, but you really were there every step of the way, and were always available to sort of help me, or if I wasn't sure exactly what I was doing.
Well, it's a whole new world.
Yeah, it was completely different from anything I had done before.
Yeah. Well, I always explain it to patients. It's like if I told you to go home and just take three Advil every 4 to 6 hours, like people don't even think twice. They just go home and take it every 4 to 6 hours. But for some reason, when I'm like, hey, can you take this supplement at breakfast and this one at lunch and this one at dinner, they're like, what? I'm like, it's just the same as Advil. That's like, it's a mindset thing. Like you feel like, but it's really, we're going after inflammation. We're just giving your body something different to help heal the inflammation and help with the digestion and help support, your gut. And you had a couple different things going on. So, once we figure all that out, everything, just the healing, the body can heal if you give it the right stuff. And then you have to figure out the diet, and we discovered on your foods. And so, I mean, you're up there now with, I guess you're probably the 4th or 5th patient, because I've been seeing a lot more interstitial cystitis where they are now pain-free. And it's, I'm like, yeah. And I feel like I should make a course on it or something, because there's some about 5 or 6 things that we need to do and look at, along with the gut, the digestion, looking at candida, and then inflammation and detox. Once we do all the right things, it was a little roller coaster ride in the beginning, and we still have a little bit of work to do here and there, but you've improved so much, and it's been so awesome to work with you. Like these are the kind of patients, if you were like Kachine and you're like, I'm gonna go all in, tell me what to do, give me a plan, like you just want that support. Like that's what I love. I can help those kinds of people. So I'm glad we have one more testimony to add to the website or YouTube. So thank you guys for joining in. Please reach out. You can see the information below or go to my website, EcoHealth Wellness, and stay tuned. We'll have some more testimonies for you soon.